We're just taking a quick stop on the league, just to discuss a little bit of drama that happened last night. Yeah, it felt like that moment where entire community is just looking at that. Like, I swear, like, every single league streamer was in the chat of LS, looking at the situation and just, like, making memes and shit. So yeah, in general, recently Forgotten Project, the Fiora guy, we played with him on NA, actually. I remember him. He seemed like a decent guy. He came in even to my stream after, like, we played together, I think, to compliment me or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, recently he did Scummy League streamer rant. So TLDR is, he was in a rough spot, and I can relate. Like, he as a streamer, he wasn't making enough money to sustain himself. He lived in Los Angeles because of his girlfriend. So he couldn't really sustain himself through streaming, and he's struggling, depression, the bills piling up and everything. It's not a great spot to be in. I'm lucky to avoid that, so I don't have that much stress because I live in Bosnia, and my living is quite a lot cheaper. I imagine I could fall into a very, very similar scenario, not gonna lie. But luckily living standard here is very, very poor, to say the least. So yeah, he was, and Karasmai messaged him, and he offered him, like, you good, bro? Not really. So he's, like, asking how he is. And then he offered him, looked in the apartment, bills are piling up, everything's getting worse. He tweeted, I think, something suicidal as well, depression, all that. So Karasmai offers him, like, partnership. So this is the type of affiliation. The contract will be 30% of your Twitch ad, sub, sponsor revenue for 2 years. Okay? Now, if you guys don't know, no pro player of a sane mind will ever sign anything above 1 year. 2 fucking peak if they get the opportunity of a lifetime. Okay? Internet sphere is extremely fast. 2 years in internet is like 20 years. It's 2 decades in real life. Okay? So multi-year contracts on internet are just vile. Generally, they're vile. So, okay, let's take that to the side. But like I said, with it being a higher view count, you'll be making way more than usual. As a Twitch manager, I usually just watch their streams as well to advise and so basically for his, I guess, stream coaching, advertisement, and hosts, he would take 30% of his revenue for 2 years. So, yeah, Forgotten Project says, yeah, that's pretty high, 30%. Okay, understandable, what about 20%? So in a matter of 3 minutes, he went to 20%. That's kind of like a fishy part when it comes to his defense later on. I barely have enough to put in the rent, I'll have to pass, and okay. So that's basically what started. And LS is also well-versed in this industry. He knows what's up, generally, and he knows the whole scheme of the ownership and owning streamers and content creators, and I have a little bit of a say in that as well. So if you guys don't know, this whole controversy generally stems from Professor Akali, Glacier, a bunch of other streamers, I can't remember exactly who as well. They were looking up for different content creators. They knew how to play the YouTube algorithm for a while. They kind of figured out the YouTube algorithm. So they had like a couple of their own editors spamming people's channels. So they would take your channel basically, and they would see the potential for growth, for channel like content abuse, and they would take ownership of your channel for an insane amount of years. Okay, they actually asked me a while back in like 2018 to 19. They asked me as well, so I'm gonna show you. Is this? Heisman was also with them. Hey man, I have business proposition. Okay. So myself, 2 others, Best Akali, Glacier, recruiting talented players. So they make it sound nice, and they take 50% of your channel revenue of YouTube, which is like, okay, if you're interested, I can give you more info. And I'm curious, like I like learning stuff. And here, yeah. That's not the worst part. 50% of all YouTube revenue and all that shit. That's not the worst part. So I tell him, because I kind of figure out that this might be that type of scam. Because I was well into YouTube when the whole machinima thing happened and all that. So I generally know affiliations of this sort. Ownership, big media, like these huge formats are just... They 99% of the times they work in the favor of the guys owning, and the creator gets screwed. It's like the producer label type of deal in music, you know. So I kind of know how the industry works to an extent, so I don't really get baited by that. So I tell him core requirement is that I get to keep the ownership. I tell him that because I know what's coming, and the channel will be yours, but you won't be able to cut us out. We'll be investing into your channel. Okay, so that thing aside, the channel will be yours. And then I tell him, okay, I want to look at the contract. And they send me the contract. And the contract states, I think someone even has a screenshot of contract. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it on the mail. Basically, it says 5 years. 5-year ownership of your channel. Like, they don't want to become a manager of your channel. They want to become owner of your channel. 5 years, okay? In the internet sphere based on League of Legends. They would own your YouTube. And they would basically own what kind of content you, because the contract also, it has $200,000 buyout. If you don't want to work with them, you have to buy yourself out by $200,000. Okay? So it was predatory as fuck. It was absolutely disgusting. It was the most vile shit I've seen. And a lot of people fell for it. Yeah, the channel is yours, but you can't cut us out. Exactly. It's absolutely fucking horrendous. It's such a vile agreement that I believe some people fell for it and they got fished in. And now it's basically like servitude. Like, it's slavery, dude. Did Glacier Professor Akali invent that? I guess. I got reached out by Heisman, as I show you. But Glacier was also working with him. He directed me to him. And they signed Karasmai, actually. They picked up Karasmai, they picked up Zvag, they picked up, I think, Fogged at the moment. They did a lot of these things, but based on your size, they would just do worse deals. You know, like if you're really not a big streamer, they're gonna give you like a 5-year fucking contract or shit. Like, I'm not a huge streamer. I don't have much money. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a prime target for this type of deal. But they kind of like overlook that I will value my freedom and quality over the just spamming the algorithm while not being myself for the next 5 years. It would kill the whole purpose of my endeavor here. So I obviously refused. And that was a while back. That was like January 2019, ending of 2018. That's when they were all doing it. So now I don't know how deep this goes. Like, did they recruit Karasmai and Karasmai is recruiting more like a pyramid scheme? I don't know. Or is Karasmai just, or did he just took the model of this type of making money and just kind of flipped it and tried to do it himself later because he got into it. Now, I don't know, like, how deep does the pyramid go there? So yeah, LS, as we said, like, he's been in the community for a while. He's insanely huge into this organization business. He's had all kinds of fucking shit happen to him. He's very, very versed in this. So he got lit up immediately when he saw the wording, which is the biggest issue here. Now, I'm on good terms with Dylan, but this is just a very, very, he didn't offer me this. He never tried to reach out to me with this. I don't know why. His defense is that he says that he saw potential in Forgotten Project and that he wanted to hook him up. To which LS responded that, I mean, if you see potential in him, try to mentor him for a couple of months for free. And if he sees benefit from that, then push him forward. It's win-win, you know? It's a really good way to do it. But, like, he tried to, like, he came off a little bit predatory. A little bit predatory, and he got accused of it because he was in a shit spot and he was, like, offering him 30% and 20 immediately. So, yeah, not a great look. And the whole discussion eventually after that, the entire League community last night was divided. People like supporting LS and Forgotten Project on the one side, and people like going with like trying to defend Dylan, that he had good intentions. And it all comes down generally to intentions. Loco Doco got involved, everyone got involved. It all comes down to intentions at the end of the day, but you can't really read intentions. Every person can just decide for themselves what they feel about the situation. Like, my idea is these types of deals are never good. Like, never. They're never good like this. Honestly. Like, if you guys are aspiring and trying to create something and you're trying to make your own unique style, if you ever get approached by a huge organization, whether it be YouTube, music label, producer, like content creation like this, read the fine print, see who has the ownership, what happens. I implore you to do that and thoroughly check it all out. Because 99% of the times, the guys owning the content at the end of the day get massive, like, it works out for them, like, heavily. So yeah, you as a content creator would generally get
I'm just saying I'm speaking strictly off of the screenshots and the timestamps.
So yeah, he gets a bit upset. I don't know if you can see that. Fuck. Sorry, guys.
There's no way.
He gets a bit upset.
For me to do so anyway. I'm just saying I'm speaking strictly off of the screenshots and the timestamps.
Yeah, he got a bit emotional at the end of this, which, yeah, was kind of like a... I don't even know. He shouldn't have got emotional, but it also kind of got a lot of people to defend him now. That's basically how the conversation ended. Ellis was actually quite nice. He's ruthless when he stays on topic. He comes across like a proper sociopath. God, I like him. So yeah, he makes sure they stick on the topic, and that he makes him explain that. And at the end of the day, Charisma gets a little bit emotional. He can't handle it. He kind of rage quits. But Ellis also tells him, like, do you want to stop here? Like, totally fair. Like, he doesn't want to push him into anything. Then they stop right there. Charisma goes to stream. And now it's just interpretations. Like, did Charisma see that as an opportunity that the guy is depressed to make money? You can only make, I guess, good educated guess if you know him or if you're involved with him or anything. Now, if you give him the absolute benefit of the doubt that he was clueless and literally only trying to help, then it's kind of alright, but it's a bit scummy to an extent, because 2-year contract, online ownership, not good. I just despise those types of affiliations. So in best case scenario, it comes across a bit scummy. Worst case scenario, it comes insanely predatory. So that's where people are kind of like, Charisma has a lot of people who hate him, so they immediately assume the worst. He has some people defending him who also assume the best. And it's kind of like a clash, but at the end of the day, it's all your interpretation, Chet. We just ran down through whatever happened, so you can make your own educated guess. I don't like how it came across. And he also admitted it. He also admitted that that's just not, it's not a good look. It's just a bad thing to do. The thing about is the whole, like, 30% revenue. Like, one of the bad parts here is that he offers 30% immediately, and then when he sees that the guy is pulling back, he immediately offers 20%. So that means he's probably gonna come out of this deal beneficial even with 10 to 15%. But he offered 30% at the start to a vulnerable character, and then he immediately swaps to 20%, and he could probably go even further down. And that's what comes across scummy, which is like the peak like vulture capitalism, you know? You're just gonna get whatever you can from them, you know, regardless of how much worth they provided. Like, yeah, I just don't like that. I think acting in that manner reduces the humanity to a huge extent. We just become like pieces of a machine. I really don't like that type of behavior. When, like, all my editors, like, I'm a low tier streamer, okay? I barely make money. My YouTube goes into negative basically always because I pay editors. And a lot of people don't even, like, a lot of people edit and they don't even want money. A lot of times I give even more than it was arranged just because I like the content and I'd like to take care of people. And I don't know, I like them to have good experience with me, honestly. Like, who cares if I end up with a little bit more money or not after that? Because it's all about making good connections and people having, like, a good time, you know, and you get the best type of content. Now, I don't know, like, you can easily just be stingy and squeeze out every penny out of it, but I just don't like that, you know? I mean, even before we had Patreon kind of funding this, because now luckily, I have this amazing community that now Patreon covers the entire back end generally, because my YouTube has shit revenue. I go into negative almost always on YouTube. So yeah, because we have Patreon now, that covers the back end, and I can pay editors, like, properly and everything, and it's all nice, you know? I think that's how people should act in general. You should give people the amount you think they're worth, not the amount you could get by. I think that's one of the core issues here, because that offer, I don't know. I watch Charisma, I like music on his stream. I just don't, I don't like that type of thing. And it's quite plausible that this is something a lot of people don't even talk about. Like social standards and how, like, ethics. A lot of League streamers are so uneducated in certain aspects of life. Because, let's be real, they spend half their lives playing video game. And a lot of them have, like, huge gaps in their knowledge. Like, when I watched Drutted the other day, he didn't know who Charles Darwin was or Anne Frank. So I was like, wait, what? That's just mind blowing, honestly. And yeah, he's Polish, I believe. So like, god damn it. And also, like, you could kind of give the benefit of the doubt and understand that maybe Karasmite didn't understand how predatory that comes across when he offered it. You know, maybe he just didn't know, and because people offered him that way back when, he thought that's a perfectly normal thing to do. He basically got raised by Professor Rakali and Glacier. You know, they're insanely good role models for you to base your morality off of. I don't know, man. That could also play the part. So yeah, he could be just very naive and he didn't understand. He could be groomed by them. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to look at this as from many angles as possible. You can imagine being a wild demon, or you can imagine just being clueless. That's about it. Are you happy, chat? Are you fucking happy? You got your drama.